Oh, yeah. Five-star. LSU. I said, they ain't ready for the LSU. No, they ain't ready for the LSU, huh? They ain't ready for the LSU. No, they ain't ready for the LSU. We the best in the league if you looking for talent. LSU going hard, but we beat Alabama, then we going out to Florida. Drown the Gators, everybody getting bucked when we step in the stadium. This the LSU anthem, you know it's a hit. You don't know another rapper two-step like this. See me screaming out the window, yelling purple and gold. I'm an LSU fan, girl, you know how we roll now. Back and back it on up. Hey, 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 way down in the back.
T.A. We are live. Supers, baby. We are super good. Super regionals on deck. Welcome into the Tigers Avenue show. Tuesday edition of the Tigers Avenue show. Obviously, we were preoccupied last night on Monday, so this is not the Monday edition. Tuesday edition. Lots and lots and lots to talk about.
Sure.
I mean, boy, what this weekend was absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. I mean, Zach, there are four remaining SEC teams.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Which we'll talk about at the end about all the craziness that happened.
Yes, we will.
In the regionals. But yeah, pretty awesome. I mean, and if you haven't watched Squeeze play, whenever your team that you love to watch is not playing, you're missing out.
AKA the Tigers. Yeah, Squeeze play is fantastic. It is really, really awesome. I have thoroughly enjoyed watching Squeeze play this weekend. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You just get to watch all the games at once sometimes. Now, I will say sometimes I'm like, all right, where's this game at? I'm trying to see this. But overall, it's fantastic. It's a great way to watch. It's almost like YouTube TV, but you ain't got to have YouTube TV. So you get to do the whole, multiple views on YouTube TV. But it's fantastic. Fantastic. So tonight, obviously, we will recap the Baton Rouge Regional that got wilder than expected. No doubt. And we will address the Supers as well. They have become a bit unexpected. These are not the teams we've expected to make to the Supers overall. There's obviously some who are the teams who expected to win. But, man, I mean, the amount of upsets has been unbelievable. And, of course, we'll get to that in our last segment.
How many top 8 seeds went down? Was it 3? 3 top 8 seeds went down?
Dude, it was
1, 2, and 6, right? Well, I mean, that's crazy. You're muted, by the way, right now. But, yeah. I mean, obviously, you had on was it Friday? I think Friday or Saturday. You're good now, Reagan. I think it was Friday or Saturday when 1 and 2 both went down, right? Was it Saturday? Yeah, Saturday, because they both lost. They both lost in the.
No, that would have been Sunday. That would have been Sunday.
Sunday,
right? Yes, because Sunday was the day we lost our first game.
And either way, Reagan. Either way, it was really cool to get to see all the different upsets, which will obviously, as we've already said, we will discuss that at the end. So we need to stop getting ahead of ourselves here and discuss this regional and how crazy it was, Reagan. How stressful it was, right?
Towards the
but
end, yes. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, extremely stressful.
yes.
But Reagan, it started off really well.
It started off exactly as you expected it to.
Yeah.
I mean, you were playing a very, very inferior opponent in Little Rock who proved to be far tougher than you would have ever imagined them to be. And I will give props, Zach, where props is due. We did not lose the game against our Little Rock the first game, right? We beat them 7-0. But previous to that game, I had said it would be a shame if we lost to them, referring to the first game. It would be an embarrassment. We didn't deserve to be there, blah, blah, blah. But holy cow, they showed up in this regional in a major way after losing to LSU the first game, then going on to beat Rhode Island and then crushing Dallas Baptist in their next game and then beating LSU again.
They crushed Rhode Island. It was like, what, 22-10?
Okay, so that was that game. Okay. Yeah, crushing Rhode Island. Then okay, so the DBU game, they won 8-4. That's right. And again, a good DBU team. They go and beat them and then turn around and beat LSU.
Did not expect Little Rock to beat DBU. And when that happened, I think Reagan, all of us were like, "Holy cow, this is going to be a breeze. We're about to just cruise to the supers."
And boy, it was not. It was not at all. So Zach, let's to kind of do it chronologically then.
Yeah.
Start with that first game, Little Rock, 7-0. Cade Anderson and
Anthony Ianson.
Anthony Ianson and Cade Anderson, both of them, game 1, game 2, were fantastic. So tell me a little bit about Anthony Ianson, his performance, and that game 1.
Yeah, well, I mean, he didn't like light up the stat sheet with strikeouts. He only had 7 strikeouts, but he was just really efficient. That was the deal with Ianson on Friday night. Is he was extremely efficient. I think, what was it, 90? Let's see, it was 98 pitches through almost 8 innings, which is really good. Really good, very efficient. He went 7 2/3, gave up 5 hits, no runs, only walked 1, 7 strikeouts. That was just the epitome of efficient. And of course, DJ Primo came in, did his job. Maverick Rizzi came in, looked really good, right? Really promising. And because LSU's offense was able to get to Jackson Wells, which, as it was mentioned plenty of times this weekend, Jackson Wells in 2023, although he has not had a great couple seasons here recently, but in 2023, he was right there with Paul Skeens and ERA. In fact, led the country in ERA in 2023. But Jackson Wells, struggled a little bit. He didn't have a whole lot of command. He walked 3 guys, so he was a little inconsistent there. And LSU was able to hit on him, right? He gave up 7 hits, 3 earned runs. Started in the first, obviously, with Brown scoring Curiel to make it 1-0. Jones scored there Jones RBI in the second inning as he scores Stanfield. Of course, Dickinson had a home run there in the 5th.
Back to back.
I mean, it was all over the place. He went back to back. Of course, he did another home run in the 6th, right? I think it was the 6th. Yeah, 6th inning.
Yes.
And but what I was really impressed with was the bottom of the lineup. The bottom of the lineup did really well in the first game. They didn't like stuff the stat sheet, but I think it was 6, 7, 8, 9 all had 1 hit, right? 6, 7, 8, 1. Yep. Stephen Milam had a hit. Stephen Milam 1 for 2. Luis Hernandez 1 for 4. Michael Braswell was 1 for 3. Chris Stanfield 1 for 2. And then you had the top of your lineup. So it was just a fully complete game because Derek Currow had 2 hits. Jared Jones had a hit. Daniel Dickinson had 2 hits. Jake Brown had 2 hits. So, I mean, the only guy that didn't get a hit in this ball game who started for you was Ethan Fry, right? Of course, he did plenty for you in the last game. So we're not complaining there. But everybody was playing well. This is just a complete game, right? They didn't like destroy them like you saw some of the scores. Early on in the regionals, you saw some teams that were beating up on them. Like, I mean, what was Georgia beat somebody like
Yeah.
22 to
Yep.
3 or something like
Binghamton.
that? Yeah,
They beat
Binghamton
Binghamton.
just crushed them. It didn't matter though, obviously, as Georgia got ousted. But we'll get to
Right.
that later.
That's right.
So Reagan, really just a complete game, and that was the story of
Yep.
Friday night. Is everybody contributed, complete team win. It wasn't like you had to ride the back of Anthony Ianson. He
No.
was efficient, but he wasn't. He was extremely efficient, but he wasn't like super over. But he was efficient, and the offense was able to hit 1 through 9. That was really what was really neat about this team on Friday night. And then, of course, Saturday you gave the ball
Yep.
to Anthony, or excuse me, to Cade Anderson, Reagan,
Yep.
and Cade Anderson did what he does.
Yep. Zach, he really did. I mean, it was just more of the same stuff, like you were saying. It was another complete game. Cade Anderson goes 7 innings, only 4 hits, 2 walks, 11 strikeouts. Dude has been fantastic. Just a standard setter. He takes the lead for number 1 in the country in strikeouts over Liam Doyle. I don't know if that still stands. I don't know if Liam Doyle pitched again this weekend, but after that game, he did lead the country in strikeouts. Just another phenomenal performance. And Zach, your offense was fantastic this game. Even better, than they were against Little Rock, which, like we've talked about, Jackson Wells was solid and kind of maybe limited you more than maybe you would expected against Little Rock. Solid pitcher, but you scored enough runs. And, of course, Anthony Ianson did what he did. But this was your 1A, if you want to say that, with Cade Anderson. And Dallas Baptist is throwing, their 2 guy who's not even comparable. It was Micah Bucknam, former LSU Tiger. You chased him early. They got into their bullpen early. You scored 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 5th. By the end of the 3rd inning, you were already up 6-0. 5th inning, you scored another. 6th inning, you scored 2 more. 8th inning, you scored 2 more. In the 8th inning, you scored 4 more. 3 more. And it was just too much for Dallas Baptist.
Well, and Reagan,
for their bullpen.
The big thing that happened in this game was they went all in on winning that game. Even after they had already got hit on and were LSU was leading. Let's see, what was it? It was in the it was in the 3rd inning.
Yep.
LSU was leading 6-0. 5-0, something like that. It was 5-0.
Bucknam went 2 2/3 and got pulled, and it was 6-0.
Yeah, and they go Elwanger, who is their second.
It was their 3rd guy. Yeah, I don't know why they did that.
I mean, stuff wise, I think Elwanger's probably their best if you just talk about stuff.
Yeah.
And so stuff wise, you throw your best guy out there, and
continue to get crushed.
Yeah, and you continue to get crushed. So, like, that really hurt Dallas Baptist's chances of anything, of any potential comeback. Because, I mean, think about this, Reagan. Elwanger looked pretty good there initially in that 1st inning. He went 4 1/3, and LSU got to him with 4 hits and 3 earned runs. But Elwanger had kind of settled things a little bit there once he came in.
Right.
And if Dallas Baptist had held him for Little Rock, I'm not saying that it would have been a different outcome, but probably a lot closer game than it was being 8-4 there in the elimination game with Little Rock. So maybe you end up seeing Dallas Baptist on Saturday, or excuse me, on Sunday instead of Little Rock. But they put all the chips in the table after already being down quite a bit, and unfortunately for them, it did not work out, and
didn't pan out at all.
A very quick exit for Dallas Baptist, much more quicker than they expected there in the Baton Rouge Regional, as LSU cruises to a 12-0 win.
And it was, and so after the first 2 games of this regional, Zach, you look like the best team in America.
Yeah.
And Zach, maybe that's true. Maybe under Anthony and Cade, you are the best team in America. I think that's not a hard argument to make based on what you've seen throughout the season. And you were cruising, and then you watched Little Rock destroy Rhode Island, and then Dallas Baptist went on to lose to Little Rock as well, and then you get Little Rock again, and you're thinking, man, this is going to be fantastic. You're on the 4th day, or the 4th game, excuse me, of Little Rock's pitching, and they're having to play again the second time for that day. You're thinking it's going to be a breeze. And this is when things took a turn in this regional. Not only did Little Rock beat Dallas Baptist, which wasn't expected, which, by the way, I saw somebody had tweeted that Little Rock beating DBU was like plus 900 on the betting line. And they had bet it. So I don't know how much money they bet, but essentially I'm pretty sure that means like you bet $100, you win 900.
Yeah.
So if you bet on Little Rock to beat DBU, you won some pretty big money.
Yeah.
So anyways, just wasn't expected. And you're thinking, like we said earlier, it's fixing to be a breeze. It's fixing to be a cruise. Hey, you need to pick all that up. Pick all that up. Sorry, Zeke just made a mess in the kitchen. Pick it up, dude. I know you did not mean to. So Little Rock comes in. You the first inning. Okay, that's enough. Okay, it's okay. It's fine. Just pick it up. Just pick it up. It's okay. Or now he's trying to explain himself to me. This is the life with a 6-year-old, Zach. So you started off so hot, and like it was 3-0 quickly, and you're thinking, all right, here we go. But then you just you kind of Newt lost it a little bit. I mean, your bats went cold, and you couldn't find anything. And they bring in, I can't remember the guy's name. I need to find it. That pitcher that just absolutely can't handcuffed us.
Brendan Katz.
Yeah, no, Malcolm
Brown. Yeah,
Malcolm Brown. So Jade Newt can't even get out of the second inning. And they've already hung 2 on him. Chase Shores, and look, Chase has been fantastic recently.
And Newt, they've both been.
And Newt, yes. But Chase walks the bases loaded.
Which after Newt was pulled, Chase went strikeout, and you're going, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Right.
You're thinking
we'll be able to settle in now. It'll be all right. And it was 3-2 at that point.
Yep.
And boy, did it change in the very next inning.
You walk the bases. They end up scoring, 4 on Shores, and you're thinking, what in the heck just happened? I mean, you went from up 3-0 to 3-2 to 3-5, 3-6. You're thinking, golly, what just happened? But it's a doable game, and then you get the score. Larson drives in Hernandez, it really was a wild pitch, but Hernandez gets in while Larson is up to bat, and it's 4-6, and you're thinking, okay, this is doable. But, bro, Malcolm Brown comes in and handcuffs you, and then Myers just absolutely fell apart as well. I mean, just one and a third inning, he allowed no hits. However, walked 4 and allowed 4 runs, and that was pretty much the ball game. You end up losing 10-4, and you're thinking, well, man, they have scored 22 runs against Rhode Island. They beat DBU. Now they turn around and beat LSU, and this Cano kid cannot get out. You cannot get this guy out, their first baseman. And you're like, man, that was pitiful. But you're thinking, okay, you still have not pitched Kason Evans and Zach Cowan.
Yeah.
So you really like your chances in the Game 7 winner take all.
And they were already out of pitching.
They're already out of pitching. And you're thinking, surely everything will be okay.
Yeah.
Well, again, it starts off great. You have Ethan Fry in the first inning, which, okay, really quick, Zach, before I dive headfirst into this game. The rule on who gets home and who's away is stupid.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid.
It's really stupid. If you have earned the right to be the number 1 seed and host at your home, especially top 8 national seed, you should be the home team every stinking game.
Yeah.
The fact that LSU had to be the away team 2 times in a row in the final is ridiculous. But that's beside the point.
Yeah.
I hated it. But you led the game off with the homer by Ethan Fry. You got them out, but then you did not score. And in the second inning is when it got really shaky. Cowan, man, his last few appearances have been really shaky. And I'm not saying I don't trust Cowan, but it just has been recently. He only goes an inning and a third and allows 5 runs. He, in the second inning, he walks, hit by pitch, walk. And then Cano has the single. It scores him. Seguin singles, scores 2 more. It's 3-1. And of course, you had the ball that lands between Stanfield and Dickinson. Gosh, I couldn't spit it out. It just felt like the inning could not get any worse. You had walks and hit by pitch and error.
And
then Stinking Evans comes in and gets you the ground ball double play to get you out of it 3-1, and you throw the error, and the inning continues. And it winds up being a 5 spot in the second inning. And lo and behold, Little Rock has knocked you off 1 game, and it's the final game. You've already lost Cowan. Evans is in the game, and they're up 5-1, and it's the second inning. And you're going, crap.
It was the lowest moment of the weekend for
no
sure.
doubt.
And I mean, I'll be honest. I was one of those people that was thinking we're about to lose this game. Like, I know it was early, but from everything that you were watching and from everything that was going on and everything that had happened the day before, it just felt like
because it was happening everywhere.
It was happening. The pitching was bad. The fielding was bad. The hitting had slumped. Like, it was rough. And Reagan, the very next inning, it felt even more of the same because they score 5, and you're like, okay, if we can answer here, we're only down 4 runs. If we can answer right here, right now, and Kason can settle things, then we'll be fine. LSU loads the bases, and Jake Brown pops out, flies out, to
crowd
left field
on their feet, rocking, and it pop out. And it was almost like the air had been let out of the stadium.
Moment. Yes,
it was.
It was very much a deflating moment. And at that point, I think everybody was thinking, is LSU really, really going to allow this team to beat them?
Yeah.
And I'll say it, like I tweeted it, and I if it had happened, it would have 1,000% been true. I tweeted, if LSU loses this game, this will be the most embarrassing postseason loss for an LSU baseball team ever, period.
It would have been.
I understand. Yes, I understand that Little Rock got hot there at the end of the season and made their way in the tournament. But you're talking about a team that, Reagan, they were 8-16 in the conference.
Yep.
They barely made it into their conference tournament, had to get hot at the end just to get a bid, right? They were a bid stealer, like should not have been in the tournament at all.
Yep.
And has already beat you a game and is up 5-1 on you
in the final.
In the Game 7 final. You've already burned you've already burned your best pitchers. Cowan's is already gone, and as you mentioned, you're hoping that Case and Evans can hold the rope, right?
Yeah, you're burned Cowan, and you're going, there's a long way to go for Case.
Long way to go. And you're just hoping and praying that somehow Case and Evans can hold the rope for you because your offense was not doing anything, and you were just gonna hope and pray for maybe a big hit somewhere along the way. And boy, Reagan, did Case and Evans ever do that, Reagan? Dude, I mean, phenomenal. Dude, 6 innings of absolute nails, just
dominance.
A legendary game for Case and Evans. That
freshman.
True freshman. That game's going to be in everybody's mind for a long time. 12 strikeouts. He had 9 straight at one point through the 4th and the 5th inning. Obviously started in the 3rd, into the 6th. I mean, Reagan, it was just
amazing.
Dominant.
It was amazing.
Absolutely dominant. 109 pitches, 12 strikeouts. He walked 3. That's where he got in trouble. We'll get to that. Only allowed 4 hits. He gave up the 1 earned run, Reagan. But I mean,
in the 8th,
in the 8th. But I mean, he
was
saved you. He saved you this game.
Yep.
And then, luckily for the offense, like for Case and Evans, because we've seen it before, Reagan. Where was it who was it against? Was it Florida State in 2019? Where was it Javon Coleman? No, who was that? Oh gosh. No, it's Fontenot, Grant Fontenot. Grant Fontenot has a absolute lights out game in game 2 of the Super Regional. And the offense just did not back him up whatsoever in that game. And LSU loses the Super Regional. Florida State advances to Omaha. But you saw a moment where Grant Fontenot came into the game and was just dominant, right? And I worried, is this going to be another Grant Fontenot story? Like, Case and Evans is going to come in and save the day, but the offense is not going to do their part of the job. And it felt that way, especially following the 3rd. But then in the 4th, you reload the bases.
Yep.
And it's 2 outs again. You're going, oh my gosh.
Please, Lord. Please. None other than the pride of Rose Pine.
Yeah, the pride of Rose Pine. Ethan Fry works a full count and smacks a double in the gap.
Roped it, man.
Yeah, roped it. Thank goodness, because if it was in the air at all, the center fielder would have caught it.
No kidding, that dude's good.
Smoked it to the wall, bases clearing, and all of a sudden, boom! It's 4-3, and the life and the energy is shot back into the stadium. It's shot to the bullpen. Of course, you in that inning, Jay was like kind of went all in as well, because he pinch hit for Braswell and put in Ashton Larson. So that was a move that we had seen. That was a move that we had seen in the SEC tournament that had not worked out, right? And Ashton Larson gets on base via the walk, and of course Ethan Fry does the damage. And if not for the center fielder, which we mentioned,
it would have been tied,
then you would have tied it there in the 4th inning, because Stephen Milam smacks the ball to left center.
Yep.
That probably 9 out of 10 times, maybe 8 out of 10 times, gets down or bounces off the wall, the bottom of the wall, and we're scoring there. Center fielder is going to have to field it and throw it in. But I mean, he made a play in the 2nd, he made a play in the 4th. Both of them without
Really
like
good.
diving, outstretched arm.
Really good play.
2 plays early in that game, and you're like, golly, like I
Can't
can't
hit
stand
past
this
the guy.
guy. Like we can't get anything past this guy. Like don't hit it to him.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, him, Zach Henry is the center fielder, and then
Yeah.
obviously Angel Cano. I mean, those dudes were tormenting you.
Yep.
In the
Everybody.
last 2 games. I mean, it was just horrendous. I mean, it was horrible to watch. I mean, it was really cool to watch. Like if you're just like talent wise and just like the magnificent plays that they made.
Yep.
But as an LSU fan, it was like torture, right? Like, please just stop hitting it to center. Like we can't get nuts. So LSU brings it to within 1, right? And Casey Evans, that's the stretch where Casey Evans struck out the side.
Dominated.
Struck out the side in the 5th, struck out the side. Or was it struck out the side in the 4th? I can't remember exactly. But he strikes out the side 2 innings in a row. LSU is able to get back in it, of course. And then in the 6th, Reagan, Luis, he was another bright star in
Big Poppy.
Yeah.
Big Poppy.
He was a bright star in this game, Reagan. And he goes homer in the 6th, and you're all of a sudden you're tied, right? And then he goes homer in the was it the 7th as well?
Another back-to-back. Yep.
No.
In the 8th. In the 8th.
So in the 7th,
Milam,
we took the lead. Yeah, because Fry came up double, right? To start the inning, and then wild pitch. Wild pitch moves in the 3rd, and you just asking Milam to do a job. Which, by the way, Reagan, Stephen Milam had a great weekend. Like he had a really good weekend. Like he definitely broke out of a slump. I understand that in the last game on Monday night he went 0 for 5, but I mean, dude in the first 3 games was hot. Would he have like a 9 straight on base streak going throughout the weekend? Like he had a really good weekend,
but he got the RBI.
Just does a job. Yep. Hits the ball to the right side, moves the runner in. You take the lead, and that was the first lead that LSU had, and they wouldn't relinquish it. In the 8th, as you mentioned, Reagan Hernandez goes yards again.
Dude crushed it.
Yeah,
dude crushed
it. What was crazy was like both of those swings, Reagan, like they weren't like just like the swing through, like like the sweet swing, like he's cut off and like kind of like
made it happen. The first one was in on him, and he turned on him.
Well, both of them, Reagan, really were kind of in on him. And I mean, he made the play, right?
Yeah.
Really impressive at bats for him there in the 6th and 8th. And so you take a 7-6. Well, at that point it was 8-5, right? No, what was it?
When he hits the home run,
6.
It was 7-5 when he hit the home run.
Thank you.
Because they made it 7-6 in the 8th with the one run.
Right. So it was 7-5. You got a 2-run lead there, and you're feeling pretty good. And Jay runs Kaysen out there for the 8th inning, and you just knew, like, for me, Reagan, I thought he was going to get one guy and they'd be done. But Jay wanted to try and extend them. He said, the way he had pitched, he felt like he deserved to try and finish that game.
I'm okay with that.
Which I'm okay with that too.
I'm okay with that.
You could just tell like he was getting gas, Reagan. I mean, you could tell like he was drawing near the end.
He was over 100. I mean, he was over.
Yeah, 100. He was over 100. So unfortunately, there in the 8th, they do scratch a run across, but
the hit actually came off of Ironson.
Yeah,
the runner belonged to Kaysen, but the hit actually came off Ironson.
Yep. So they scratch across the run there, bring it to within 1, and boy, it got dicey there as well because Ironson had to. What did they have? I think what they have, Reagan, was it 2nd and 3rd? I think they had 2nd and 3rd.
I know they had 2 on.
I'm pretty positive it was 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. Ironson gets into a full count, and a borderline pitch gets called a strike. Like it was. You could have argued it was inside, Reagan, but you get the call, strikeout, 2nd out of the inning, and then a ground ball, a tricky ground ball hit to 3rd, and Tanner Reeves does his job and barely makes the play to end the inning. There in the 8th and in the threat, and that was the biggest. That was all you had to overcome there. as in the ninth, finally. I mean,
Shout out Bear Jones.
shout out Bear Jones. I mean, I'll say, like I was there, like frustrated, like when is this guy going to get a hit? I mean, and to be fair, Reagan, he hasn't not looked himself.
He's been
here.
frustrated with himself. He's
could tell,
been fighting himself mentally.
Like you watched him like take fastballs like in his wheelhouse and just watched him go by, and then you've seen him go after and chase breaking balls that were nowhere near the zone. So like he's just in between himself right now and chasing pitches that he shouldn't chase and staring at pitches that he really should be going after, right?
Yeah.
But thank goodness in the ninth he came through in the biggest way. You needed some insurance. You were only up 1 run. You absolutely needed some insurance. And Brown gets on there in the ninth inning, and then Jones absolutely crushes a ball. And you got nervous there for a little bit too, Reagan, because you thought for a minute this infielder was going to get it.
Dude, because
dude ran and jumped on the wall and leaped after it, like insane. And
he did that. I can't remember which inning it was, but Tanner Reeves got a hold of a ball. Yeah, and he went and got it too. Yeah, I mean, he was not letting anything get over him.
Yeah, he was not. Letting
Tanner crushed that ball.
Yeah,
and it was almost out, and he went.
Tanner crushed 2 balls that he caught. Like it was.
I'm looking forward to Tanner. Getting. I'm expecting him to take a huge role next year. I'm super excited for Tanner.
I think we can discuss that, but I think we'll also see him more throughout the rest of this postseason.
Sure.
Considering how things have been going for Braswell. So you talk about, Braswell struggling. Jones obviously struggled, but Jones to come through in that moment was huge for him, right? Mm-hmm. It's been rough. And, I had texted in our group, if LSU makes it to the Supers, I feel like he's going to have a really good Super. And I'm hoping that Jared Jones can get things turned around. Maybe that home run in the ninth can be a little bit of a jump starter for him.
A breath of fresh air.
A breath of fresh air.
Bit.
Yeah. I mean, he can, he's got plenty of time now. He's got obviously Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, as we found out. It's going to be Saturday whenever LSU will play their first
Which is big
game.
For you.
You got 4 days to get yourself and prep yourself for this weekend against West Virginia. And so hopefully he can get things turned around. I hope maybe I'm a prophet a little bit and he can have a big weekend against West Virginia. So we'll see, Reagan, but that was good for him. And then Hernandez continued to be really good as he singled and scored Stanfield there in the ninth to make it a 4-run lead, and that's all you needed, Reagan. Anthony Ianson comes in, which we expected that, right? We expected possibly Anderson, maybe Ianson, most likely Ianson to come into this game if it was close or if you needed, an inning to shut the door, and that's exactly what Ianson did there in the ninth as he goes 3 up, 3 down in the ninth, and LSU survives Little Rock to advance to the Supers.
Tip of the cap to UALR. They gave you everything they stinking had. Everything that you could have ever wanted, they gave it to you. They pushed you. And look, you'll be better for it. You really will. They really pushed you. And as aggravating as it was, you just got to tip your cap. They were really stinking good. Chris Curry, their coach, was just a classy guy. Was enjoying just being there and that this got to happen for his guys. You love those kind of things. And so tip of the cap, as hard as they made it, you'll be better for it. So Little Rock, y'all were awesome. You really were. But also tip of the cap to Kason Evans for what he did. You don't win this game if he doesn't do that. Ethan Fry, literally, I think he got on base. I think he came to bat 5 times, and he was on base 5 times. They intentionally walked him the last time he came to the plate. He had 2 doubles, a home run, and a single. He was 4 for 4. Got on base the 5th time he came because they were like, we want nothing of him. And, of course, Luis Hernandez, somebody that really is just at times overlooked in this lineup. but man, did he deliver big. He delivered big when you needed it most. He kind of got that separation for you with his 2 home runs back to back. Just awesome performances. So proud of the team. There was massive adversity that you were facing, and man, you punched back. They punched you with a few big blows, and you were able to fight back. And that was really big. I don't care who the opponent was. It was postseason baseball, and teams were dropping like flies. National teams were dropping like flies, and
for sure,
I don't care who it was. We dogged ULR, but they gave you everything, and thank goodness they did. They got out of it, and now what was supposed to be last year's matchup that you did blow last year in the Super. You were just a couple outs away from getting West Virginia in the Super. You get West Virginia. You get West Virginia in the Super Regional. You get to host them at home. So really thrilled about them moving on. You're in the Supers. With that being said, Zach, I know there's some comments in here, and then we can kind of preview this Super a little bit.
Yeah, we definitely need to get to some. Let's get to some comments, Reagan, and then we'll come back to preview the Super and obviously go around college baseball. As we mentioned, a lot of upsets. We definitely want to discuss some regionals and some pretty crazy endings to some of those regionals. Carl Dunn, squeeze play is a gift from God. LOL. Yeah, squeeze play has been really awesome. If you have not watched it, be sure to in your spare time when you're chilling and want to catch some of the college baseball tournament, turn it on. TT's in here as always. Appreciate Tyler being in here with us. Carl also said, glad there won't be another 8 p.m.
Dude,
game.
no kidding. Good.
Dude, yeah. That was rough.
Thank brutal.
Jesse Hell says that LSU baseball is absolutely thrilling. Couldn't agree more, Jesse.
We love you, Jesse.
Ryan is also in here. He says, I don't know what to say about this bullpen, hot and cold. I mean, that's how it's been all season, Reagan, right? I mean, has it not? That's kind of just like you got to live with it, and you got to hope that
it is what it is.
When they're hot, that like if LSU's offense is struggling, they're hot, and if LSU's offense is not struggling and they're dominant, you hope that the cold kind of comes around that time whenever LSU's offense is just dominant. But that's just it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Luckily, now you've gotten to an area where you don't have to rely on as much on the bullpen, right? Like when you're in a regional, you got 3 other teams you got to worry about, right? Like you got to kind of count on other guys to step up and have big performances. Now you're in a 3-game, best of 3 against one team, and you can, work your way around your deficiencies as far as the bullpen goes. Right now, when you get to Omaha, that's when you're going to have to worry about it again. Right. But like this weekend coming against West Virginia, you can kind of more so rely on your 2 best arms and your guys out of the bullpen that you trust the most, like a Case and Evans. And we'll talk about that, Reagan.
Correct.
But let's keep going through these comments. Let's see. We were doing reverse psychology last night in the group chat that I was in. Yeah. Ryan also said, too bad that center fielder doesn't have eligibility left. He probably doesn't leave Baton Rouge without an offer. Cano is great, along with the catcher Martin. All this was great. Let's see. Curry may have earned him another job. We'll see. I mean, he did have a losing record, but we'll see. Maybe the last half of that their season helped them out a little bit. I'm not sure. Jay Tigers said need to recruit a couple of the Little Rock guys.
That's right.
Jay Tiger, glad to have you in here, man. I'm not sure if you've been in here before, but we're glad to have you joining us tonight. Super exciting time as Tigers advance to the Supers. Country Roads versus Colin Baton Rouge.
Gotta love it.
Gotta have Colin Baton Rouge, but could throw Country Roads in there. Yeah, there you go. Let's see. Tyler Townsend says West Virginia is going to be a tough series. I don't know, Ray. I kind of like our matchup versus West Virginia when you really do a deep dive. of these two teams. Plus, you're playing at home, right? You're playing at home,
Right.
and you saw how good you looked in the first two games, right? And that's
Yep.
that's what I'm saying. Like that's the difference. Whereas in a regional, you have to win 3 games, right?
Right.
In a super, you don't have to win 3 games. You just got to win 2. You just got to win 2. So,
Correct.
and you're set up really well for that this weekend. Reagan, I said let's go ahead and let's take a quick break. We've already been in the show here 47 minutes. We've discussed the regional plenty. LSU wins. They advance to the supers against West Virginia, the surprise out of
Clemson's regional.
Yep. So let's go ahead and let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll discuss that matchup.
5-Star Hero, your intro and outro music for the Tigers Avenue show. They ain't ready for that LSU. Go check out all his other music on all the major platforms. Don't forget to follow him on Instagram at Saints Anthem and at Twitter at One Nation Doty. Don't forget to check out his Facebook page for all his Saints and LSU merchandise. Can't get any better than Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law. Her firm focuses on the needs of the elderly and maintaining their dignity throughout the process. Here for you, here for your family. Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law.
Right back at it here in the Tigers Avenue show. Super preview. Zach, LSU gets West Virginia coming out of the Clemson Regional. They are a pretty solid team, as some of you guys are saying. They're sneaky good, but I really like LSU's matchup here for a few reasons. Number one, West Virginia is very much a small ball team. They're
not like super offensive.
No. They are going to try and steal. They're going to try and like crazy. I mean, that's Luis. That's one thing to look out for. Is
Luis is going to have a good weekend.
How is Luis going to be tested on the base pads? Because he's going to be tested. And they're going to bunt. They're going to do all those kind of things. However, you look at the scores. Kentucky was beating West Virginia in the first game. They were beating them the first game. West Virginia came back and won it. Now, they did beat Clemson. And it was a good game. And Clemson's a solid team. Then you turn around and Kentucky was beating them pretty good again. And West Virginia had to come all the way back and win that game 13-12 late in that ball game. They got it done. But they did. They did get it done. So they are a good team. They've earned their spot here. So we're not going to act like it's just going to be super easy. But I do like the matchup. And here's why. Number one, as I've already said, they're not a very offensive team. Number two, the starting pitching is certainly advantage LSU. They had their first guy is Griffin Kern, and he's got like a 3.13 ERA, I believe. He's got 100 strikeouts on the year, 29 walks. So a solid day one guy. It'll be a good matchup. However, Cade Anderson has just been so solid, so consistent, and is one of the best pitchers in the country, period. And so you like that matchup. You don't – Cade has been facing big offenses all year long, Tennessee, Arkansas, those kind of guys. And I don't know. I think our defense more so is going to be tested more than our pitchers. But the one thing that LSU has done really stinking good all year is starting pitching and defense.
Best in program history, defense.
Exactly. And so I like it in that sense. And again, there hasn't been a lot of teams that really tested Luis, but maybe that's a problem. I don't know. But I really like LSU's defense. I like our starting pitching a lot more. Our offense at home, I trust it more. And so I think we're going to win this series. And I think we'll go 2-0. I really do. I think with Cade and Anthony back to back, because their second guy is not Griffin Kern. I'm trying to remember his name. I know his last name is super long. It's like Contreras or something like that. Here, I know I can pull it up really quickly. I was looking at it earlier. I was kind of pre-scouting them. I should have saved that. Here it is. Jack, yeah, Cartsonis. Yes, Jack Cartsonis.
He has a pretty good ERA. He does have a pretty good ERA.
I thought it was over. I thought it was over 5. Is it not?
2.94.
Okay. Maybe I'm thinking of a different guy. Maybe I'm thinking of a different guy.
Let's see. They also have
2.94 ERA. The strikeout to walk ratio isn't as good as it's 76 on the year. But again, Anthony, number one, has faced far superior opponents, in my opinion, and I think just about anybody's opinion than West Virginia. And has a good ERA, has a less than 3 ERA, is the third leading strikeout leader in the country, and is right on the heels of Liam Doyle, and has been absolutely dominant. Again, you like the matchup based on the way they play offense, based on what you have starting pitching, and you're playing at home. I really think that we will win the first 2. I really do. And I could be wrong, obviously. I knock on wood. But this is a favorable matchup for LSU.
Yeah.
They weren't a host for a reason. They're a solid team, but they weren't a host. They beat Clemson. They beat Kentucky. Kentucky gave them just about everything they could. And Kentucky was a mid-level team in the SEC. And this is a top-level team. LSU's top of the league in the SEC, and you're in their stadium. This is a much different environment than Clemson or really anything that the Big 12 has to offer. I just like our chances. I really do. I think we're going to make it to Omaha this year because of Cade Anderson and Anthony Ianson. So that's kind of my thoughts and previews on it, Zach.
Yeah, Reagan. I would say I follow suit right there with you. I don't know if there's too much that I can add on to that. But, as you said, Reagan, LSU's offense, it seems to just do a lot better whenever those 2 guys are on the mound, when Anthony Ianson and Cade Anderson are on the mound. And you saw that, right? You saw that on Friday and Saturday. And then when they're not, it begins to be a little bit of a question mark, right? And especially when you're on the road. But you got to get this, Reagan. I do believe you absolutely need to win the first 2. If you don't win the first 2, if you split, it's going to be nail biting there in the third game. I think it'll be a very close battle if you go to a third game. I do believe that LSU, as you said, Reagan, I'm with you. I think LSU wins the first 2 games and goes 2-0 in the Super. I hope we're correct on that. I think one of the games will probably be LSU by some runs.
3-4.
Kind of a run, kind of a 3 to 4 run, something like that, Reagan. And then I think the other one's probably gonna be really close, right? And if I had to say which one, I think probably in the game against Cade Anderson, that's probably going to be a game where it's really close, right? Kern is a very good pitcher, right? He went, I think it was 7 1/3 against, was it Kentucky? Yeah, went 7 1/3 against Kentucky the first game, and he had 7 strikeouts. He's a good pitcher, right? So you probably look at that game 1 and think that could be a low scoring game with Cade Anderson and Kern on the mound.
Yeah.
Probably LSU wins something like 3-1 or something like that, and then against in the second game against Ianson, I expect Ianson to do what he's done, and I expect LSU's offense to have a pretty good day against their second pitcher and their bullpen there in the second game. So maybe LSU wins something like 7-3, something like that.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes, Reagan. But I do expect West Virginia to make it competitive somewhat, mainly in that first game. We'll see, Reagan. I mean, hopefully this is not the weekend where Ianson or Anderson, has a debacle of a game, right? Hopefully it could happen. It's possible, right? And this is a specific type of team, Reagan, as you mentioned, that they run a lot, they put a lot of pressure on you, get them over, get them in type of team. So, how does Ianson, how does Anderson handle that type of team where, you mostly kind of face teams where, they're power hitting teams like, Auburn, like a Tennessee, like an Arkansas, and Anderson and Ianson have handled them really well. So how do you handle a team that is a lot different in that aspect? So we'll see. There's going to be, I think they'll have a lot of traffic more than they're typically used to. But I think they're also going to be gifted outs because that's what West Virginia is going to do. They're going to give you outs in trying to.
You muted yourself. It happens. It happens.
We're good now.
There you go. There you go. We got you back.
Sorry, but I knocked it, and there you go. Anyways, they're going to give you outs, Reagan, but there's going to be I think there's going to be a lot of traffic, as far as some pressure there. They're going to work the pitch count, right? They're going to bunt guys over, sacrifice, all that kind of stuff. You're going to see a lot of that. So if Anderson and Ianson can work around that, if they can deal with that pressure, as we've seen, they can handle the pressure, right? If they can handle that, then you should have a pretty smooth weekend so far. Knock on wood, right? Knock on wood. We said this about the regional, right? We said
that's right. That's right.
You should have it smooth, especially like after you won the first 2 games, and then you saw Little Rock there in facing you in game 3. Everybody's like, smooth selling, right? So
didn't happen.
I'm saying that, but like, expect nothing. Expect nothing, right? Expect it to be an absolute dogfight, right?
Yeah.
Of a series. So
let's
on paper, Reagan, LSU should win this 2-0, right? 2-0. But expect nothing. It's baseball. It's postseason baseball. So you never know what's going to happen, right? And Reagan, that's a good point to lead us into this final segment here, Reagan, which is what happened around college baseball. Reagan, almost half of the top 16 national seeds went down this past weekend in regional play. That's insane. That's crazy. That half of your top 16, almost half of your top 16 national seeds went down.
Gone.
It's crazy.
And the 1 and 2 on the same day.
Gone. Yeah. So, and Vanderbilt should have went 0-2, right? Well, I know the matchup's different there, but I mean, Wright State
should have lost the first one.
Wright State had them dead to rights in the first game, and I don't know what the Wright State coach was doing. Their pitcher
Why did he pull that guy?
Had a no-hitter going and pulled him after after 6 innings of a no-hit baseball. And of course, Vanderbilt scratches across 4 runs there in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, right? And there you go. They won the game. But they lose to Louisville, and Wright State gets them back.
Yep.
They're able to get them back there in the elimination game after Louisville wins in the winner's bracket. So Vanderbilt, boom, down goes Vanderbilt. Then in the Texas regional, they couldn't handle in-state little brother UTSA.
Texas San Antonio Roadrunners.
The Texas San Antonio Roadrunners, right? And their game and they're Mosley. What am I trying to say? They're the Misfits, right? The Misfits of Texas, right? Beating up on the Texas Longhorns. Now I will say Texas, they've had their injuries, and you lose your ace, and that made it difficult for them. And you knew it was probably going to be a difficult road for them, especially if they had made it to Omaha or made it to the Supers. It would be a difficult road for them. Yep. But it proved to be true here in the regional as UTSA beats up on them twice in the winners bracket, winning 9-7, and then they're in the regional final, beating up on them 7-4 to advance. Reagan, other regionals, not as super as surprising as some of the other ones, like the Texas and the Vanderbilt game.
That's the big
But,
ones.
Like Southern Miss, they had a really tough road
Yep.
ahead. As they had to face Bama and Columbia and Miami. That was a really, really tough regional.
Tough regional.
For a national. I mean, they are the 16th seed, so you're going to have some better teams in there.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a tough regional to come out of, like whoever you are.
It was.
Tough. And Miami, ends up winning
out.
winning that regional.
Oregon went 2 and Q.
Yeah, Oregon went 2
and Q. That's crazy. Vanderbilt, Zach, we also failed to mention, is the first number 1 seed ever
to
not make it to their regional final.
Make it to the regional final. Yep.
Oregon goes 2 and Q. Clemson gets eliminated by Kentucky. Kentucky dog walked them.
Yeah, they did. It was a 16-4. 16-4.
Dog walked them in their own stadium. That was brutal. Yeah. The fans literally were giving a standing O to their players because it was over.
Yeah.
It was over. They were applauding their their team one last time. Cam Carella, Canelo, whatever his last name was, their star player, because it was over. I mean, it was over. It was over.
Yep. Auburn, for the most part, dominated their regional.
Auburn looks good, man. I'm glad they're not on our side of Omaha.
Yeah,
I'm glad they're not on our side.
I would agree with you. But 2 of the better teams in the SEC. Tennessee and Arkansas. So you're really starting outside of Texas and Vanderbilt, which Texas and Vanderbilt had their deficiencies. Like Vanderbilt, they got the number 1 seed, but they were kind of below like Auburn, LSU, Tennessee, Arkansas, Texas, and they just got hot there at the end and were awarded the 1 seed because of their, they got hot there at the end. But overall, didn't have like they had a good season like in the SEC, but not like a super impressive season in the SEC. Like a Auburn, like a Texas, like a Arkansas. And so, it kind of proved to be true. Like the whole, some of the season kind of proved to be true there in the regional against Vanderbilt. And then really just the injuries for Texas. But you saw the top SEC teams do what they were supposed to do. Auburn sweeps through their regional. Arkansas sweeps through their regional. And Tennessee, their season in a whole kind of also got summarized there in the regional as well, right? Some good and some bad, right? As they did take a loss there to Wake Forest. Now they won game 1, had kind of a hard fought game against Cincinnati there in the winners bracket. Wake Forest is able to come out of the losers bracket after losing day 1, right? Kind of like Little Rock, come out of the losers bracket and beat. I mean, very very similar to the Baton Rouge Regional. They lost day 1, and then they go 3 straight, beating Tennessee on Sunday to push a game 7. And Reagan, it was close. It was close there in the first few innings, and Wake Forest was even winning 2-0. Reagan, they were winning 2-0 early in that game, but Tennessee just outmatches them there.
Correct.
In that game 7, and so now you've got a big matchup, right? Tennessee and Arkansas,
big time.
And that if you win against West Virginia, that's who you're going to be facing.
Yep.
In game 1.
Game 1 in Omaha.
Game 1 is going to be either Arkansas or Tennessee. So Reagan, I know it's already an hour, hour and 5 minutes in. Let's give a little prediction here, Reagan. So
hold up now. You missed one.
Oh yeah, the Murray
Ole
State
Miss got put up by Murray State.
Yeah. Murray State beat Ole Miss.
That game was insane.
And Duke beat Georgia.
Duke beat Georgia. Dude, that game was insane. Ole Miss was down 12-3 and scored 9 runs in the last 2 innings.
Yeah.
And still lost.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Murray State jumped out on them early, but yeah, Ole Miss made it pretty.
They almost ran out of pitching. Murray State just about ran out.
Yeah,
I'm talking about skin of their teeth.
Yeah, that was a pretty crazy regional. That was, in my opinion, that was the craziest regional.
It was wild.
It was
Georgia Tech,
pretty crazy.
All those, yes, wow.
Yeah, Duke beats Georgia. Right,
yep.
the 7th seed in the tournament. So,
yep.
Reagan, 3 of the top 8 seeds went down. Vanderbilt,
Crazy.
Texas, and Georgia. 3 of the top 8 seeds eliminated from the tournament. So Reagan, Supers are set. Miami and Louisville will play. Neither a national seed, but they will play. Made it out of their tournament or their regionals.
Yep.
UCLA and UTSA will play each other. Oregon State, Florida State. That should be a good matchup. Duke and Murray State. It's crazy to say that, but like Duke and Murray State, that's a super regional, but it is.
That's unbelievable.
Arizona and UNC, right? Jay Johnson's former team. That should be a good regional. LSU, of course, West Virginia, Auburn, Coastal Carolina. Could Coastal Carolina potentially maybe get the upset?
That'd be awesome.
And Arkansas, Tennessee. We've got some really good matchups. And then you've got some surprising matchups here in the Super Regional, as we've already discussed. So let's predict them, Reagan. Miami, Louisville. Who you got?
I'm going Louisville.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going Louisville as well. UCLA, UTSA.
I'm going UCLA. UCLA. The luck runs out.
I'm with you there. Oregon State and Florida State, the 8 seed versus the 9 seed.
See, that's the tough one. That's like the closest matchup. You know, it's like the middle of the bracket.
Yeah. Yep.
I watched a bit of Oregon State and a little bit of Florida State this weekend. State gave Florida State some problems. I'm going to go Oregon State.
I'm going Florida State. So we'll see how that turns out. But I think Florida State's a really good team. Arguably should have been a top 8 national seed, but I understand they faltered a little bit there at the end of the season. But I'm picking Florida State to win that regional, that super. Duke and Murray State.
I'm gonna go Duke.
I'm going Murray State. I'm going Murray State to.
Can you imagine Murray State going to Omaha?
I'm going Murray State to keep the Cinderella alive. Reagan, their offense, they have got a good offense. Reagan, they're impressive offensively.
They were turning up. That's true.
True. I'm going with the Cinderella team continuing to make the dance, continuing the dance. LSU, West Virginia, of course, y'all know our feelings there. North Carolina, Arizona. I'm going North Carolina.
Yeah,
I think North Carolina
really good.
I think they'll probably win that 2-0. Auburn, Coastal, Reagan.
Auburn's just been so stinking good. I really like Coastal and kind of want to pick them, but Auburn's just been so stinking good. So I'm going to go Auburn.
I'm going Coastal. I'm picking Coastal to win.
So
I've kind of got a few upsets here. Florida State, maybe not so much an upset, but Florida State over Oregon State, Murray State over Duke. I think Coastal Carolina gets it done in 3. Awesome. I think Coastal Carolina gets it done in 3 games against Auburn, and kind of surprises them there. And then finally, Reagan, Arkansas, Tennessee.
I'm going Tennessee.
I'm going Arkansas on this one. I think Arkansas gets it done. Arkansas is playing really, really good. So if all that holds true,
they just like to choke. It's the way of Arkansas.
We'll see.
And
we'll see.
That's why I'm picking it.
I honestly, Reagan, I think Arkansas has the tools to win it all this year. The pitching concerns me a little bit. The offense is just really good. I don't think Auburn, while Auburn does have good pitching, I don't think they have the pitching to win the championship. LSU for certain has the pitching to win this, the 1-2 punch. They have the pitching. I mean, Shores when he's good, when he's on, Newt when he's on, Kaysen when he's on. I mean, LSU has tools. North Carolina definitely, I think, could win the championship. I think this is going to be I think the championship is going to be between one of 5 teams.
Okay.
And I think those teams are North Carolina, LSU, Tennessee, Arkansas, and Florida State. For me.
Yeah.
I know Florida State being the last one that could potentially we'll see, Reagan. We'll see. It's going to be a really fun weekend to watch all these games.
Yeah.
And I mean, going to be having squeeze play. Obviously, LSU will play Saturday. Thank goodness they got the Saturday, Sunday, Monday after a long regional weekend. They'll get the Saturday, Sunday, Monday slots there. And let's see, Reagan. Let's go ahead and go. I think they've already announced
I was just looking at some betting odds. I was trying to-
ESPN, by the way. ESPN Saturday at 1 p.m. is the
Yes.
first game. And then ESPN 2 against West Virginia at 5 p.m. on Sunday.
Yep.
It's a little bit. That's a little weird.
I was trying to find the. Gosh, I can't find it. Somebody had released some betting odds, and LSU was the betting odd favorite to win it all.
Really
Yes,
interesting.
it was like plus 250 LSU to win it all. That's
Very
not
interesting.
important. I like
Let
our
me see if-
chances. I really like our bracket. The other side of the bracket's way tougher. Or
Yeah.
Florida
Florida State, Oregon
State,
State,
Oregon State.
Louisville, Miami, North Carolina, Arizona, Auburn. Yeah.
Yes, much tougher.
Carolina.
You have, I mean, Zach. Let's just say let's just say something crazy happens, and let's say it's on your side, Murray State, and it's UTSA, Tennessee, and LSU.
Yeah.
Like,
You got to win one game. You got to win one game.
I mean, it's lined up favorably for LSU. There's going to be some tough games, but I think LSU has a real shot here. I really do.
With Ianson and Anderson, you definitely have a real shot. You definitely have a real
If you
shot.
keep winning games with them, if you keep winning every game they pitch,
The offense is going to be
really
which we got to make it past West Virginia first. Let's make
You
that
do.
pretty clear.
You do.
You got to make it past West Virginia first. But if you make it past West Virginia, you with Anthony and Cade, you got a real shot to put yourself in the winner's bracket and having to get beat twice in a row. There in Omaha, like you got a really good shot.
Yep.
So,
in Omaha, to me, the most important thing is pitching. I don't think Arkansas has it to do it. I just don't.
They've got a couple good guys. They've got a couple guys.
They've got Root and Gackle and
I don't Reagan. They had some pretty good arms this weekend that were pretty impressive. Because who was it? Was it Gage Woods?
Gage Woods is one of them too.
Yeah, Gage Woods was.
But Gage Wood
was phenomenal. 13 strikeouts, 6 innings pitched, in their third game of the weekend. Of course, they swept the weekend, but
if they lose a game, though, I'm just saying.
No walks.
If they lose a game, I think they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Which I guess you could say that about LSU too.
Yeah. You could.
But it is what it is.
But that Tennessee I think that'll probably be the most watched Super this weekend for sure. Auburn, Coastal Carolina probably up there too. Oregon State, Florida State. But yeah, Reagan, man, I'm so pumped and ready for this weekend. I'm ready for it to get here.
You made the comeback, and you made it. So enjoy it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Alex Stadium. It's gonna be jumping. Super regional. It'll be jumping. Zach, maybe I need to talk to McKenna and maybe look at price tickets. Maybe.
Oh, gosh. I don't know. That might be tough.
They're expensive.
Let's see if we can get just a few more comments here.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody want to give us tickets? That'd be great. We love you guys.
Tiger, I know we're still in this year's schedule for LSU, but how will the new Virginia coach going to state affect LSU?
Great hire.
Yeah, that was a big hire for sure.
Great hire.
Let's see.
I think it's a solid hire. Would not have been my choice, but it's a solid hire. It really is.
Ryan said if it comes down to NIL, LSU would get the players over Moose State probably 8 out of 10 times. Mississippi State's got a lot of money invested in baseball, Ryan. I think that's
not as much as you think.
Probably not as much
as you think.
Probably not as much as you think, but I don't think 8 out of 10. I'd probably say it's more like 6 to 7 out of 10, probably, because they do have the money. They got some money, Reagan. I mean, look at that.
Oh, they do. But I think LSU's right there with them.
Oh yeah,
they're better than them.
LSU's there with them for sure.
Wow.
I mean, I think LSU's they're doing better in NIL but like you win some big games at Mississippi State and look out. Let's see. It helps that the series is starting Saturday. Yep.
I did want to point that out. The rest.
The
Kate
rest.
Anderson gets full rest, 7 days, and Anthony gets 6 days.
Brian
It's
says,
it's
I'm not
massive.
predicting anything. Jay Tiger, we need to get Reagan some purple and gold merch for his background. Thank you, Jay Tiger.
I don't have a spot. I just don't. I don't have a spot.
He did kind of, before he moved a little bit. Where's the green screen, man? You got to get the green screen back. Come on.
It's at the office. It's hard. I'm trying to figure it out. I've been trying to think of what I can do.
Right now, he's just got a chalkboard with hey, it's something. It's something. Yeah, he can't be as clutch as.
I can't do that. No, I can't do that.
I mean, we got the Joe Burrow Sports.
The issue is a lot of my LSU stuff is in my office at the church. So
yeah, I got the Tigers, which you can't see it right there. Let me see it. Let's see it. You got the win. I don't have the win bar. I've got the win bar side. I got to get the win bar here. It's in Simon's got it. Let's see. And I don't let me get distracted here. You got I got the light. There you go. LSU. You got LSU Tigers Avenue over there. I'm thinking about moving it like right there so you can.
You got to get the Avenue thing in there.
Yeah. I thought about. Yeah, I might have to get it moved a little bit and let's see, get that adjusted there. Anyways, but yeah, we got to get Reagan a little better background, but it's all right. He's working with what he's got, and he provides really good content for our show. So
try to.
Let's see. Yeah. Let's see if there's anything else there. Let's see if LSU gets super, they will play either Tennessee or Arkansas. Yep. Third time UTSA has beaten Texas this year. Yep,
that is true.
Pretty crazy.
That is true. Got their number all year long.
Let's see.
All year.
Yeah, he said Zach's got you beat. Yeah,
obviously.
Jay Tiger, what's your real name? I mean, we got to get your real name in here. Hopefully, Jay Tiger becomes a normal. He's hyping us up here in the comments.
He is. Appreciate you, Jay Tiger.
I'm glad he's here in the comments. Taking Arkansas on that one. They usually fold. Yeah, let's see some of these picks. Ryan says Oregon State. Jay Tiger says Murray State. Ryan's going Auburn. Ryan said Arkansas chokes in the College World Series mainly.
I disagree. They have choked in the regional and the supers a lot. A lot.
They have.
The one choke that I know
I
kind
of like Arkansas. Taking Arkansas on that one, they usually fold at some point though, yeah. I think Florida State will go down in the first round of College World Series if they make it. Let's see. Dylan Skeens poster in the background, Reagan. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Josh.
Let's see.
Josh.
Oh, I'm from Mississippi.
We are as well, sir.
Jay Tiger. We're from the great metropolis of South Haven, Mississippi.
The tip of the sip.
The tip of the sip. Yep. But bless purple and gold. Family is from Baton Rouge and Slidell. Cool. Awesome.
There you go. Appreciate you, Josh.
Oh, so it's Josh. Is Josh?
Yeah, Josh.
Okay, Josh.
Thank you, Josh. Appreciate you being here.
Hopefully you keep coming back to us.
Yes, you're always welcome. Always welcome.
We're typically in here Monday, Tuesday, sometimes depends on how
Thursday
it falls.
Sometimes,
and then Thursday. So hopefully
our summer schedule is fixing to get wild.
Yeah, our summer schedule is wild. We will not be doing a show next week at all. As me and Reagan, as we've said, we're both youth pastors. If you don't know that about us, we've got 101 watching. So appreciate all of y'all watching. Y'all please like, share, follow us if you're not already on social media. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We appreciate y'all so much. We love LSU. Yes. It's our favorite hobby. This is our favorite hobby is LSU. Yeah. Favorite thing to do in our spare time, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So we appreciate y'all being here. But if you don't know that about us, yes, we're from Mississippi and we are youth pastors. So next week is
church camp, man.
It's church camp week for us. So we've got to take our youth groups to Louisville, Mississippi, or is it Louisville?
Yeah.
Louisville, Mississippi.
Whichever one.
To Lake Teocata for church camp next week. So we will not be on at all next week.
And the next week I preach another camp.
what we might have to do, Reagan, is we might have to do a show Thursday or Friday.
Friday. Yeah.
Which Friday, I guess if they're playing, they might play Friday, right? But so maybe
right.
Thursday. Maybe we can try and pull one off Thursday.
That's right.
We'll be exhausted, but we might try and pull one off Thursday to
Figure it
recap
out.
the Supers. We'll figure it out. If we lose, we might just wait until
That's
the following Monday.
right.
But if we win, we might be hyped enough to be able to
To get it done. That's right.
Get it in on Thursday. So, but we will plan to hopefully
get in as
one
much as we can. Yes.
as much as we can next week. So either way, Ryan said, "Where's Dad?" So Dad is actually from is it Delhi, Reagan?
I believe so.
Dad, he lives here in South Haven, where I currently live as well. Reagan obviously is in Fulton, Mississippi. We've got some family in Arkansas. Our sisters in Arkansas. Me and Reagan have both lived in Arkansas for a time period.
Yep.
But Dad's in South Haven right now. But Dad is the reason for all this. That
Yes.
is the reason for all
Father has made us Tiger fans.
Yeah,
Born in
it's just-
Louisiana, grew
It
up
is his
around
fault.
South Haven or South Mississippi and Louisiana as well. So that's where it comes from. If you go to South Mississippi, it's LSU territory. Dad was born there in Louisiana, lived in Louisiana a little bit, and South Mississippi. I keep trying to say South Mississippi. So that's where it come from. So appreciate you, Josh and Ryan. Thank
What do
all
you got
y'all
here,
being in
Reagan?
here. Yeah, we love y'all being in here. Appreciate all the comments and the interaction. We love it as always. Tigers are headed to the Super Regional, Zach. They made it happen. They pulled off the comeback last night, as stressful it was. They did it. That's all that matters. It's a W in the column. You're moving on. You get to flush whatever happened this past weekend and look towards West Virginia, and you get to play at home again. It's a great opportunity to make yourself and put yourself in the College World Series back in Omaha again. Looking forward to it. We'll be back sometime, hopefully soon, to recap all of it with you guys. As always, we'll see you next time here in the Tigers Avenue Show. Foster here, take us out. Peace.